Hello, beloved people of God. This is Pastor Adam and Peter here with your November Pastor's Report. Peter won't be staying here for the entire report, but he just looks so darn cute right now, don't you, bud? With his little bear outfit and stuff. So I just wanted to start with showing off how cute our youngest disciple is here at Park. Okay, let me pause it and then we'll come back and get into the report. Okay, I'm back and it's just me. I know a lot of you probably would rather just spend 15 minutes watching Peter, but nevertheless, here's what we have going now for the November Pastors Report. I want to start by just bringing us back a week ago at the end of October, and the way that you all did such a very amazing job in worship on a Sunday morning, welcoming the stranger and loving your neighbor. What I'm getting at is, for those of you who are in worship, know this. For those of you who weren't there, the story is a gentleman literally came in off the street who didn't have a home. He was experiencing homelessness, and just walked into our worship service as it was going on. And a number of you, both during worship as well as after worship, took time to go over to him and just treat him like a human, like a brother in Christ, and talk to him. And he had lots to say about what was going on in his life. And I noticed a lot of you offered a very empathic presence and offered prayers to him. That's what we say we do during the offering each week, is we commit to offering our prayers, presence, gifts, service, witness, and time in the ways that God wants us to. And very practically speaking, a lot of you did that in worship, offering your prayers and presence. So I just want to commend you all for that. Ultimately, for a variety of reasons, given his situation, and I won't get into personal details that are confidential for him, but we couldn't quite offer him everything he was hoping we could as a church. But besides you all just offering him, like I said, fellowship, your prayers, your presence, and your time, a few hours of pastoral care and counseling with him. Practically speaking, helped him get his new phone set up, which was an experience for me to learn how to do. And I gave him a safe, warm place to get that phone charged up as he made arrangements for where he was going to go to next on a pretty difficult path of life he's on right now. So, like I said, just want to thank you all for welcoming the stranger. And then with loving our neighbor, I was reflecting this week about how the sermon on Sunday was about loving thy neighbor as you love yourself. And how in the sermon I made mention of things that kind of came true to life almost literally as I was preaching it, which was, loving our neighbor does mean caring for people like this gentleman that came in off the street, even if it takes some time and work and effort. That's still loving your neighbor, is engaging in that. At the same time, loving your neighbor means having a relationship and building relationships, but not transcending healthy boundaries. As a congregation, we have some boundaries as far as what we're able to offer people when they ask for financial assistance and housing assistance. And we do what we can, and we point people a lot of times to our partners at the Turtle Lake Police Department and the Salvation Army. But we do have boundaries. We have limits of what we're able to do. That doesn't mean we can't form relationship with people. So I just was really amazed the way that God always shows up in worship, but in a really different sense. I thought last week how you all shared God's love through your actions, and how we welcomed stranger and loved our neighbor. Joined us for last week. I don't know if this gentleman will be back, but the last thing he said to me Sunday afternoon as he was leaving was, if I'm in town again on a Sunday, I look forward to seeing all of you again. So I think we'll take that. We'll continue to pray and bless him as he, like I said, goes through a pretty difficult path in life he's on right now. Changing gears to things coming ahead, we have monthly after worship fellowship time. The background to this is, I know all throughout this year, the United Women in Faith, as well as their hospitality and outreach co-chairs, Tony and Lynn, have done a really amazing job putting on different after worship potlucks and fellowship events. Going all the way back, we had All Church Birthday last winter. We had I guess it was before Easter, not after Easter worship. We had a wonderful meal. And I think almost every month throughout the summer, except for August, we did something after worship to gather together. But there's been kind of a push to do a more formal structure of at least once a month, possibly being the second Sunday of the month each week or each month. We'll see the dates. Uh, Doing just a coffee hour together, tying in a prize drawing among those who are present, like not like a lottery raffle or anything like that. It's not that good of prizes, but basically to kind of have something a little bit more fun for those who are able to stay after worship. So Barb is going to take care of the November prize drawing. And then we already have a full sign up sheet of everyone who's going to bring muffins and cookies and bars and that kind of wonderful stuff. That's going to be Sunday the 12th, next Sunday. And then the following month, it's going to be December 17th. It'll be after our special worship service, which will feature the Yuki Lutherans, so a bunch of Lutherans I know who play the ukulele, and our children's program, which will take the place of the sermon. That's Sunday the 17th. We'll have fellowship, coffee, treats, and of course a birthday party for Jesus, a celebration of Advent and Christmas, but also the kids who will have put on a great program. So November 12th is the next after worship fellowship time, December 17th, and then we'll get a date out sooner rather than later about January. But plan on, after worship, sticking around. You can always stick around and visit with people. Of course, we have lots of space in the church. At least once a month, we'll have a very intentional time of being together. And just once again, a shout out to the United Women in Faith, UWF ladies, and the hospitality co-chairs, Tony and Lynn, who are going to be directing that and asking for help, but ultimately being the host of those things. I'll do such a great job so many ways, but especially in welcoming people and making this church a welcoming place for fellowship. Okay, are you ready for this? November 15th, Wednesday, through the 22nd, another Wednesday, a 7-day stretch. It's going to be one of the busiest weeks in the life of this church. So Wednesday the 15th, in the evening at 6 p.m. is the United Women in Faith's Topics That Matter November topic, which is Scam Alert, scams that affect us all. And by all, it really is all people, young, old, people who go to church, people who don't go to church. So definitely invite anyone and everyone to join us for that. There'll be snacks provided, and we'll begin about 6 o'clock with he's the agency liaison with the Wisconsin Consumer Protection Bureau or something like that. He's very knowledgeable, and he'll be the leader and presenter on the 15th of November, Wednesday the 15th at 6 p.m. for Scam Alert, Topics That Matter. And then Saturday, the 18th, is going to be the blessing of Regina and Judy and Judy's mom's new home. So we'll have a 2 p.m. start time. We'll bless all the rooms of the house, and then you'll get to just give them compliments, how beautiful it is, and we'll have a time of fellowship and treats. And if you've never been to a house blessing, they're really actually quite fun to just dedicate all the spaces of a house in loving service to the Lord. And there's lots of interesting prayers that we'll read and some scriptures that we'll bring up, and it'll be a really good time. So 2 p.m. on the 18th, we'll have that house blessing up at Georgina's. I'm not going to say over the internet her address, but we'll have that in the bulletin and a couple other things. So you'll the address then. And then we got worship on the 19th, which of course will be a great worship experience. Sunday Bible study at 9 a.m. and then jamming in Sunday school at 9:30. Monday the 20th is Church Charge Conference, which will be at 6 p.m. Just in the fireside room. It'll be led by District Superintendent Peace Kim. Will come up and take as an opportunity to formally introduce himself to us as a congregation, to give his call story and cast his vision for the district. Just kind of a heads up, talking with the other pastors in our circuit at the circuit meeting last week. He takes a little bit of time to go through that introduction, and then of course the church council or church conference business takes about an hour. So plan on it being about a 2-hour meeting. It's not going to be 2 hours of business, but it's going to be about 2 hours more or less at the church. So have dinner beforehand. Lynn, hospitality co-chair Lynn, is going to provide some snacks and decaf coffee, but definitely you may want to eat beforehand. The conference packet, sorry, our church conference packet is coming together. It will probably be pretty complete after Ad Council on Wednesday the 8th, but we'll go ahead and give me a few extra days. So my plan is record a video like this, but instead of me showing my face, we just look at the documents on the screen and I'll go over what they all mean. Um, in the email link for that video, you'll have a digital copy to the church church, conf- church conference packet. If you need a paper copy, I invite you to come to office hours on the 17th, Friday the 17th, from 9 to noon. I'll have the packets ready then, and we can look at it together. We get a course at worship on Sunday the 19th, or we'll have paper copies at church conference on the 20th. But just kind of look for later next week for more information about what we're going to be discussing and voting on and examining at church conference. And it's going to be helpful if you can to watch that video or at least scroll through or flip through the packet ahead of time. You know what's coming up. And then finally, Wednesday the 22nd, the end of that busy week is going to be the Red Kettle campaign bell ringing at Austin. We've been asked specifically by the director of the Barron Burnett County Salvation Army, Duana Bremer, who we all know as a church, actually preached a few times here. So she wants us to the bell ring in front of Osted's between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on Wednesday the 22nd. A number of you after worship today already shared that you're able to help, and a number of you will probably get a phone call from me asking if you can help. And then next week we'll actually in worship have the sign-up sheet with some of the spots filled out, but others still available. So if you're able to and you want to claim a specific 1 or 2 hour shift, be sure to reach out to me and let me know this week. Otherwise, you can just write in what needs to get filled next Sunday in worship. It'll be a busy month ahead of us, but a good month. So I ask that you would continue to pray for one another, continue to pray for the church and the ministries and missions and events we have. And I wouldn't mind some prayers as well. As Lori and I continue a busy season of parenthood, and there's a lot of church ministry that is good, but also a little bit of more demanding on our time. But we appreciate your prayers for us as a clergy couple as well. With that, may God bless you. And Ad Council folks, I look forward to seeing you Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. for Ad Council Finance Committee at 5:30. God's peace be with you all.